Imagine a political battle so fierce, it divides the very fabric of power in Washington, turning friends into adversaries, forcing principled people, to make impossible choices. What happens when just one nomination threatens to unravel everything, exposing the raw ambition and also the quiet integrity right there at the heart of government?
Such a high-stakes game, isn't it? And today, we're really diving into Allen Drury's classic novel, Advise and Consent.
Yeah.
Our mission really is to explore that intricate web of alliances, the betrayals, and those deeply human motivations that underpin these power struggles in the Capitol.
Absolutely. This book, it's so rich with character studies, these behind-the-scenes machinations. It just offers this timeless look at Washington.
It really does.
And we're able to bring you these kinds of insights, much like the thoughtful reflections you'll find over on our Mindful Moments series that's on our YouTube channel.
Oh, wow, right.
There, our AI book analysis helps inspire, reflection and critical thinking from complex narratives. Well, just like this one.
That's great. So let's unpack where this whole thing kicks off. The central conflict in the novel, it really ignites with the president's nomination of Robert A. Leffingwell for Secretary of State.
Leffingwell, right.
And on paper, he looks fantastic, described as the best administrator, possessing, general brains, character, and ability. Seems like a formidable choice.
Yeah, seems perfect. But despite those gleaming credentials, the second his name is mentioned, there's this immediate, almost visceral opposition.
Instantly.
We see Bob Munson, the majority leader, get that phone call, and his first reaction is just, that's a hell of an appointment.
What does that immediate backlash tell us about how Washington works? Is it ever just about the resume?
Rarely. Rarely just the resume. And what's striking is the president's stance. It's just unwavering, almost like an immediate declaration of war on any opposition.
Right.
He tells Munson flat out, barring a morals conviction or a murder rap or membership in the Communist Party, I'm committed to this man.
He even says, the United States, in effect, is committed to this man because I am the United States in foreign policy. That's not just commitment. That's throwing down the gauntlet.
It really is. It sets up this immediate showdown, doesn't it? Defines the battle lines before anyone's even had a hearing.
Exactly. And it underscores that point from the book, that decisions are often made, quote, entirely aside from the merits of the nominee.
Yeah, that line really jumps out. We see it so clearly when Senator Munson, the pragmatist, learns the California senators, Ennis and Smith, aren't swayed by policy.
No.
They're swayed because, apparently, Hollywood will be behind him. What kind of leverage does an industry like Hollywood actually have? I mean, what does that say about the real currency of politics?
Well, it's fascinating, isn't it? That Hollywood influence, it's not just celebrity stuff. It represents this powerful economic, cultural bloc.
Okay.
It can mobilize votes, shape public opinion in key states. So suddenly, this nomination isn't just about Leffingwell. It's a chess piece in a bigger game of legislative give and take.
I see. Policy decisions aren't made in a vacuum.
Never. And the global stakes are clear right away, too. The book shows the British, French, Indian, Russian embassies. They're all watching very, very closely, each doing their own sort of delicate diplomatic dance.
Yeah, I remember that. Lord Maudulane from the British embassy, Raoul Barre from the French. They're talking about using this incredibly cautious language. And Krishna Khalil, the Indian ambassador, even suggests maybe they should listen to Tashikov, the Russian ambassador, even though Munson's pretty skeptical. This isn't just casual observation, is it? What are they doing?
No, it's not casual at all. They're cautious language. It's strategic. It's a diplomatic tightrope walk.
Right.
They're signaling their interests, their preferences, without directly interfering. Because, any hint of meddling could blow up relations later.
Okay, makes sense.
They're trying to read the tea leaves, anticipate the outcome, position themselves, because a new Secretary of State, that can totally shift global alliances. It's a subtle dance, but absolutely critical.
Paints a really vivid picture. So against this backdrop, let's look at the people navigating this. First, Bob Munson. He's this master strategist.
Oh, yeah.
His view of American government is almost poetic, an ever-shifting, ever-changing bargaining between men's ideals and their ambitions. And somehow, the ambitions often end up serving the ideals. What's that tell us?
Munson's genius is his pragmatism, but also his deep grasp of Washington's hidden logic. He truly believes that, quote, the shortest distance between 2 points is very often not a straight line in politics.
Right. Not cynical, just realistic.
Exactly. It's recognizing that compromise, that indirect influence. That's what actually makes things happen in a democracy like this.
Yeah.
His whole career, built on this web of favor and counterfavor, shows power isn't just confrontation. It's about building consensus through these complex relationships. He uses the system's own messiness to achieve, well, what he sees as higher ideals, even if the path is winding.
That's a great way to put it. Then, in sharp contrast, you've got Brigham Anderson, chairman of the subcommittee.
True.
Presented as this man of just profound courage and integrity. He refuses to be rushed, tells the press straight up, I'm not ready to say anything. There are many aspects I want to explore. That's tough under pressure.
Incredibly tough.
What does his steadfastness reveal about the personal cost of real integrity in that arena?
Anderson embodies that ideal, doesn't he? The impartial judge in a system that often isn't impartial. His core belief is simple, but so challenging. You've been elected to judge. You've got to do it on your own conception of what's best for the country. Stick with your judgment no matter what.
Wow.
His resolve, it just highlights that lonely, often thankless burden of independent judgment. While everyone else is calculating angles, Anderson reminds us that real public service sometimes demands this unwavering conviction, even if it flies right in the face of political convenience.
Then there's Sieb Cooley, the veteran from South Carolina, uncompromising.
Old Sieb.
He sees Leffingwell as, quote, one of the most dangerous men in America. And the book gives us that great anecdote about his humble beginnings, helped by Colonel Cashton.
Right, that shaped him.
Made him diligent, persistent, incredibly detail-oriented. He's formidable, knows the game, and has that famous advice. Always be kind to constituents.
Yep, yeah.
How does Cooley's sort of deep sense of duty, his relentless pursuit of what he thinks is right, how does that act as a counterweight here?
Cooley's that unyielding anchor, isn't he? Representing this deeply held conservative principle that sees Leffingwell as a genuine threat to American values. His personal history isn't just color. It explains his diligence, his profound distrust of maybe intellectual elites or those who seem detached. His politics aren't just strategy. They're this tireless dedication to his people and to principles he sees as non-negotiable. He's the immovable object.
Against Leffingwell's force, yeah. And then the other side of that coin, maybe, is Orrin Knox, the honest bull. Blunt, forthright, sometimes seen as a bull in a china shop. But the president sees his value, recognizes his three great qualifications. He is strong, and he is honest, and he is able to learn.
That last part is key.
Right. Knox even ran for president based on sticking to certain fundamentals. What does his sort of uncomplicated honesty bring to this world of complex games?
Knox brings a different kind of strength. It's a moral clarity that just cuts through the political fog.
Yeah.
In a room full of strategists weaving complex webs, his directness is its own kind of force.
Okay.
And that point about him being able to learn is crucial. It means his honesty isn't just rigidness. It's a commitment to core truths that he's willing to apply, maybe adapt to new situations.
Yeah.
He's a reminder that sometimes the most powerful stance is just unvarnished principle.
Even if it lacks finesse.
Exactly. Even then.
And as Drury paints these characters, he also gives us this amazing sense of the Senate chamber itself. It's timeless, looks exactly as it had at 10 minutes to noon in 1820, 1890, 1910, or any other time. What does that unchanging backdrop signify about the institution?
It's such a powerful symbol. The timelessness suggests that while the players change, the institution, the Senate, with its mix of rigid rules and very human, sometimes flawed personalities, it endures. It implies these battles over power, nominations, principle. They aren't unique to this moment. They're fundamental to how American governance works. A subtle reminder, the stakes are bigger than just one person or one vote.
It sets the stage for when things get, well, darker. The pressure starts to expose the ruthless side of power. Fred Van Ackerman emerges.
Van Ackerman.
Junior senator from Wyoming, volatile, uses aggressive steamroller tactics. He doesn't just argue, he threatens Brigham Anderson. Carries a white paper he claims can do it, remove opposition. Chilling.
It is chilling.
Yeah.
Van Ackerman represents that raw, unbridled ambition that can just fester. He's not interested in debate or principle. He wants total victory.
Right.
That white paper tactic. It's a stark example of weaponizing information, maybe even misinformation, to control people, eliminate rivals. It shows how easily political tools can be twisted into intimidation.
And how vulnerable even principled people are.
Exactly. And Leffingwell himself isn't immune to using tough tactics, is he? During the hearings, Knox questions him sharply on foreign policy, especially about the Russians.
Yeah, the quid pro quo versus state of mind thing.
Right. Leffingwell's defense gets combative. And then he does it. He discredits a key witness, Herbert Gelman, by revealing Gelman's past record of mental breakdown.
Ooh, that's brutal. What does that reveal about character assassination in politics and the pressure that drives someone like Leffingwell to do that?
It's just a stark example of how desperation can erode ethics. Leffingwell, initially presented as having integrity, resorts to attacking a witness's mental health.
Not refuting the point, attacking the person.
Exactly. It's about destroying the messenger. A deeply cynical tactic to silence dissent, deflect scrutiny. It makes you ask, at what point does pursuing your agenda justify these destructive personal attacks?
And what's the long-term cost?
Precisely. And then you have the agony of Justice Tommy Davis.
Ah, yes. Such a complex moment.
He's portrayed as generally kindly, right?
Yeah.
But he feels driven by these highest imperatives for the nation's safety. So he gives potentially damaging information about Brig Anderson to Senator Munson.
And Drury shows us his struggle, knowingly hurting someone for what he thinks is the greater good. He's not a simple villain.
Not at all. His torment is so poignant, it reveals the profound burden of public service. He's grappling with this awful utilitarian dilemma. Is sacrificing one person okay if it prevents, what he sees as a national catastrophe?
Those impossible choices.
Exactly. It highlights those gray areas where personal ethics just collide with perceived patriotic duty. Can those choices ever be truly justified? And what's the hidden personal cost?
And all through this, the president's pressure is just relentless. He tells Munson about Anderson with this chilling resolve. If it comes to a showdown, something's going to give. And it isn't going to be me.
That line is just...
Wow.
It's more than just firm, isn't it? What does that absolute refusal to yield tell us about presidential power? And maybe the isolation at the top?
That statement is the president drawing a line. Absolute. Cool. Demonstrating the immense weight of the office, yes, but also his personal investment in Leffingwell. It's power bordering on, imperial.
Like his vision overrides everything.
Yeah.
It suggests he believes that, that his vision overrides even the Senate's constitutional role of advise and consent. It speaks to that incredible pressure to assert authority, maybe the dangerous illusion that one person's will can override checks and balances. Compromise seen as weakness?
Chilling, as you said.
Yeah.
So where does this all lead for the characters? The personal cost is devastating. It culminates in the tragic news of Brigham Anderson's suicide.
Yeah.
Sebe Cooley, deeply affected himself, tells Orrin Knox, "We have lost our young friend. He has shot himself." This isn't just drama. It feels like a brutal statement about integrity in a system demanding compromise.
Anderson's end is Drury's unflinching statement on that soul-crushing cost. Standing firm in a system built for compromise. It forces us to ask, what's the breaking point?
When the system demands, you betray yourself or others.
Exactly. It casts this long shadow over all the maneuvering. Reminds us that behind the strategy are human beings with limits. And the book hints at the strain on the president, too, right? His sudden death, that fearful spasm as the news about Leffingwell hits.
Right, the wire service copy falling.
It's the ultimate price paid in these intense power battles.
Let's shift focus a bit to the author himself. Allen Drury's meticulous journalistic approach really shaped this book, didn't it?
Absolutely. He was a journalist first, prioritized extensive research, tracked down as many primary sources as he could. Apparently even traveled to locations just to stand where his characters would have stood.
How does that dedication to authenticity, even in fiction, contribute to the novel's power?
It lends this almost documentary feel, doesn't it? Makes a fictional Washington seem incredibly real, lived in. He portrays the procedures, the personalities with such depth, it immerses you.
Turns it from just a drama into a real study of power.
Exactly. Makes the insights feel earned, credible.
What's also fascinating is hearing he didn't work from a rigid outline. He immersed himself in the characters, knowing what situations would arise and how his people would respond. The story grew organically.
Yeah, that's amazing for such an intricate plot.
What does that organic approach suggest about real-world politics, and maybe the power of character to drive events?
I think it speaks volumes about Drury's understanding of human behavior in politics. By letting the story emerge from the character's own logic and interactions, he mirrors how unpredictable real politics is.
Things aren't preordained.
Right. They're the consequence of individual choices, reactions. It creates this dynamic, living story, a testament to how human agency, flaws and all, shapes political destiny, often in ways nobody planned.
And that led to surprises even for him. It's wild that originally Leffingwell was going to be confirmed in the novel.
I know, he just let the narrative develop as I went along.
Which brings us to his artistic integrity. He famously refused editorial pressure to soften the portrayal of the Senate or remove critiques of intellectual fads.
Yeah, he stood his ground.
His insistence on the story's integrity, it really speaks to a powerful, positive theory about truth-telling, doesn't it? Both artistic and factual.
It truly does. His refusal to compromise his vision, even facing pressure, underscores his deep belief in the story he was telling. It's like an assertion that art can, and maybe should, reflect unvarnished truth, even uncomfortable truth. That dedication to integrity, mirroring characters like Anderson, is what gives the book its lasting weight, its prophetic quality, why it still resonates so strongly today.
This whole exploration of advise and consent, it really reminds us that behind every policy, every vote, every headline, there are human beings grappling with ambition, principle, profound personal stakes.
Yeah.
It forces you to ask, in this high-stakes game of public service, what is the true cost of power? And what sacrifices get deemed necessary for the so-called greater good?
The novel really holds up a timeless mirror to that intricate, often brutal dance of power and ethics in government. It compels us to think about that fine line between pragmatism and moral compromise.
And the tragic consequences when those lines blur.
Exactly. The enduring relevance is its ability to strip away the political talk and just expose the raw human drama underneath.
Well, to continue exploring these kinds of intricate narratives and, cultivating critical thinking about the world around you, be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Definitely.
And share this discussion with someone who loves a good political drama. For more AI book analysis that inspires reflection, check out our Mindful Moments over on our YouTube channel.
That's a great resource.
You can find links to purchase this fascinating novel and our other resources right there in the description. We really invite you to think critically, question assumptions, and always keep learning.